Hi everyone, my name's James and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I thought I'd do an old school recent pickups video just to show off some of the pieces that I've bought or acquired recently that don't really fit into any of the other videos that I'm making. I'll go through each piece in detail and then I'll show you what they look like on body as well. I'll leave links where I can, but some of these pieces are vintage so it might be hard to find an exact copy. In that case, I'll list an alternative which is quite similar if you still want to get the general look. For reference, I'm about 5'10" and around 140 pounds. So the first item I want to show is actually the only one you can't see on the rack, and it is a pair of New Balance 991s. Up until very recently, the only New Balances that I'd really messed with were the 574s. The 574 is the classic New Balance shoe and it is a great all-round shoe. It's definitely their most popular model and for good reason. It looks really good, it comes in loads of colorways and it's really affordable. And for those reasons, I'd never really strayed away from the 574s. I think I was just browsing the New Balance website for more 574s and I started just looking in the Made in UK, Made in USA section, and I was really drawn towards the 991s in particular. So the 991s are a Made in UK model and I became a little bit obsessed with them. I was looking at them every day for a couple of weeks just to make sure that I really liked them. Because they're not a small investment, they can range from sort of 180 to 210 pounds, whereas for 574s you can get on sale frequently for around 50. But after deliberating for a number of weeks, I decided to just pull the trigger and get the 991s in the classic grey colourway. And now that I've got them in hand, I can honestly say I am not looking back. I don't think I will ever buy a 574 again. I'll much prefer to get the 991s. I can fully appreciate the price tag. The difference in materials and quality compared to the 574s is just no match. The quality of suede especially is something which stood out immediately. Also just the general construction, the whole shoe feels a lot more handcrafted and just tighter and more well put together than a 574. So as I said, I got them in the classic grey colourway. This is like the most popular grey colourway that New Balance do essentially. They do them in all the 900 series and they often sell out. The exact model number is M991GL. The suede is like a beigey sort of grey, and then you've got a lighter sort of green-grey mesh and then a darker grey leather. You've also got hits of reflective sort of mid-grey on the New Balance N and on the heel. The sole is like a mix of darker greys on the bottom and then that sort of green grey and brilliant white on the sides. I bought these just before I went on my Italy trip. If you want to check that out, it was my last video. And for 2 days straight I wore these and I walked in them a lot in Rome. And Rome has got a surprising amount of different terrain. It's like really cobbly streets, lots of hills, lots of grass. So I really put these to their test and they stood up so well. They were so comfortable. One thing I will say about sizing is that I usually wear a size 9 and I picked these up in a size 9. They're fine on the length, but the width is a little bit narrow. If you've just got regular or narrow feet, then these will probably be fine for you if you go true to size. But if you've got particularly wide feet, you might want to go up half a size. But overall, I am just absolutely delighted with these. I think they go with absolutely everything. Once you start getting deep into New Balance, you start noticing all the details and you start to notice other people wearing like 900 series, which is like a way more premium shoe. Like I said, I'm probably never gonna look back on 574s again. I'm fully invested in the 900 series. I've already got my eye on 992s, 993s as well. But it's a pricey hobby. At the moment, I'm just really happy with these and fully recommend them if you're looking for something a little bit different in the New Balance range. All right, next up, a couple of accessories that I've picked up. And the first one you might have seen if you watched my Rome vlog again. And it's this Balenciaga cap. I gotta be honest, I'm a little bit reluctant to show this off. And that's because I picked it up in a local charity shop for £2.50. Obviously, my immediate thought was it's got to be fake, right? I actually posted it on my Instagram story to see if there were any experts out there who could see any obvious signs of it being fake, but no one really knew. What I will say is that it feels like it's good quality and there's leather on here which smells like leather. and there's some very convincing looking tags on the inside, which I'll do some close-ups of. So it's just a pretty plain Balenciaga spell out cap. I have seen these for sale on Farfetch. It's got a bit of leather going around the brim. It's also got a leather Velcro strap at the back and a sort of gold buckle as well. It's got like a sort of brown lining on the inside, and it does have those tags as I mentioned. First made in Italy and an M, I'm guessing it's size medium. So do the Balenciaga caps come in different sizes? I don't know. This is the first one I've ever owned. And also just a list of the materials used. So polyester, cotton, polyurethane, and 100% genuine leather. The leather strap on the back is also embossed with Balenciaga Paris. So it's pretty plain, but I think a really nice looking cap. I did manage to get my hair up into a bun and pull it through the back, so I think it looks quite tidy. I think these retail for a couple of £100, and I would never buy it full price. But £2.50 charity shop, yes please. If any of you know Balenciaga well, please take a close look at the up close shots that I've done and let me know if you think if it's genuine or not. Okay, and the next accessory that I'd like to show off is this New York New Era beanie. I've been wearing this loads recently. You probably see it in most of my recent videos. My usual go-to beanie is a Nike SB one, which I really like. It's like a fisherman beanie, but I've worn it so much it's kind of fallen apart, so I wanted a new one and I wanted to get something other than black. So I got this New York one in this, it's called a walnut colorway. It's effectively like a dark green. The New York and New Era branding are actually quite subtle because they're the same color as the rest of the beanie, so they blend in. But I really like this because it's a fisherman beanie, like my Nike one, so it's got that ribbing texture and it's a little bit shorter than a regular beanie, so it's pretty much made to sit above the ears rather than over them. And I really like beanies like that. I think they look a little bit more refined and they're more versatile than the full-on winter beanies that you pull right over your head. But obviously the downside is they don't keep you particularly warm. It's definitely more of just a fashion piece. But another reason I really like them is because I can wear it easily over my longer hair and it doesn't look too weird. Sometimes it looks a little bit pointy, but I think it looks good overall. And it's just nice to be able to still wear accessories even with longer hair. But I got this off ASOS and it was on sale, and I think it is still on sale, so if you're interested, I'll leave a link in the description. Alright, next up are two pairs of jeans which I actually inherited yesterday. So these are fresh for me. So I inherited them both off my dad, who is offloading all of his old designer clothes, and he was trying to put them on Vinted, and I was like, no, I want them, give them to me. So the first pair are actually a pair of Versace jeans. My dad had the drip. My dad assured me that he paid a very pretty penny for these when he bought them in the 1980s. And I've never owned a pair of Versace jeans, but now that I've got these in hand, I can fully appreciate why they are so expensive. The quality and some of the details, which you know I love, are just phenomenal. The standout detail straight away is the leather patch on the back just in the belt buckle. So it's like a crocodile skin leather, and it's got the Versace logo in this sort of like metallic piece, and then it says Versace Jeans Couture. Moving around to the front of the jeans, all the little metal details and buttons have the Versace head logo as well, and you've got another little Versace tag on the belt and this little Versace spell out as well just above the left back pocket. Now, as you can probably see, these are black, but they are so beautifully vintage. They've got like a lovely washed black sort of color now, and along with that coloring comes the sort of feel of it. They're like so well broken in now. They're just super comfortable. Speaking of quality, these are made in Italy. These are the first pair of jeans I've ever had which are made in Italy, and they do just feel like superb. I mean, the fact they're from the 1980s and they are still effectively in perfect condition just shows the quality of them. Of course, it has the YKK zipper. Would expect nothing less from a quality piece. Now, the fit on them is pretty much just straight leg, but one thing I really like about them is that they're very high-waisted. A lot of the jeans you can buy these days are sort of made to be worn around the hips, but these are very much made to be worn around the waist. And I like that, it just gives you a little bit of a different silhouette, especially if you tuck your t-shirt in. Now the tag says 32-46. Guessing 46 is European sizing. So 32 must mean 32 waist, although they feel smaller than that. But one thing is they're definitely too long for me, so I might have to get these tailored, or I could just roll them up at the ankle. I'm always very reluctant to make alterations to vintage pieces because I like to keep them in their sort of original condition. I'll try them both rolled up and rolled down. Let me know what you think. All right, next up, another pair of jeans, and Dad is coming in with the drip again. This was inherited from my dad yesterday. This time it is a pair of vintage Giorgio Armani jeans. I honestly think he spent more on clothes than I ever have. But this is just a beautiful pair of light wash, straight cut Giorgio Armani jeans. So this time he got a sort of gold brass detail saying Armani Jeans on the belt loops, and then you've got a metal Armani logo on the back right pocket. Going around to the front, these are button-up jeans, so each button has the Armani logo on it. And again, these are made in Italy, and the quality is just unreal. It's such heavy quality denim. Again, these are from the 1980s, and my dad wore them a lot, and they're pretty much in perfect condition. And being that old, the color has just like patinaed into this beautiful vintage wash, and the denim is just so soft now, and they're so comfortable to wear. One weird thing I noticed as soon as I put these on, I don't know if it's just an Armani thing, but the buttons go all the way down to the crotch. So I don't know if you can make that out, but they pretty much split wide open on the front, which I guess is great if you're struggling to get into your jeans. But these are a size 30 and they fit me really well around the waist. Again, I think these are more to be worn around the waist rather than the hips. But again, I've got the issue of them being a little bit too long, I think. So I don't know if I'll just wear these rolled up or I might get them tailored. Let me know what you think in the comments. Okay, next up I want to show you a couple of t-shirts, specifically vintage t-shirts. And these three in particular are brands that I'm always looking out for. And the first one are actually Hard Rock Cafe t-shirts. Now, this is nothing new, like people have been collecting Hard Rock Cafe for the longest time. Actually, my favorite Hard Rock Cafe t-shirt is in the wash at the moment, but you can see it. I've worn it in some of my previous videos. It's got like the flame on the front and the back. But this is definitely another one of my favorites. It's the Hard Rock Cafe Baltimore t-shirt, and it's got the like golden sparkling dragon on the back. And I really like the Hard Rock Cafe t-shirts for a number of reasons. First of all, the variety of designs. Second of all, the quality is always really good as long as you're getting a properly vintage one. Thirdly, I really like the fit on them, like especially the vintage ones. They're all really boxy and oversized. And last of all, you can usually get them for a really good price. So I think this one in particular cost me £15, which is just crazy. It's like a heavyweight cotton boxy t-shirt with this absolutely stunning washed out black. Something I've talked about in my previous videos. This sort of washed out vintage look is just something which is so hard to replicate with new clothes. So it's something you can really only get in vintage clothing. Now, something you really want to look out for if you do want to look for Hard Rock Cafe tees is to take a look at the tag. Like the older ones might be made in USA, but at the minimum they'll be made of USA components, but then like assembled somewhere else, like maybe Mexico. I think the newer ones are still really good quality actually, but if you're just keen on getting like the vintage 80s, 90s ones, then that's something to look out for. And it's just crazy to me how the print on this has lasted for so long and still looks so good. And to be honest, day to day, this is the sort of thing that I like to wear. The next brand of vintage t-shirt I really look out for are the Harley Davidson t-shirts. Again, nothing new. People have been collecting Harley Davidson tees for the longest time. But this one is definitely my favorite. It's the Playa del Carmen Mexico one. And this just has like absolute classic Harley Davidson branding. It's just got the Harley logo on the front breast there, and then on the back as well. This just sort of suits my aesthetic so much. I really like the sort of grungy, oversized look when I'm just day to day. Funnily enough, this actual t-shirt might be a bootleg because it doesn't actually have a Harley tag on the inside, but just being a vintage t-shirt, it just fits and feels way better quality than a lot of the stuff you can get today. But if you were picking up a modern Harley tee, I actually think you'd be fine, because I think Harley especially focus on quality with their clothing. But just like the Hard Rock tee, I picked this one up for like £15. It's crazy. One thing I've noticed when wearing especially the Harley and Hard Rock tees, people like to gatekeep a bit, and they're like, well, do you ride a Harley? Have you been to that Hard Rock cafe? And my answer is always the same, like, I don't think you have to. Clothing should be inclusive. You should be able to wear whatever you want if you like the look of it. I mean, it'd definitely be nice and a story to tell if you owned a Harley and wore a Harley tee, but I don't think you have to. And the final brand of vintage tees that I'm always looking out for are these like NASCAR or Daytona t-shirts. Just like the others, they're like vintage 80s, 90s tees, super boxy, thick collars, and they've all got like super colorful, nice designs, which when it's sitting on this washed out black just gives the nicest look. If you're looking out for these NASCAR type t-shirts specifically, there are two brands you really want to look out for. The first is Chase Authentics, which is the one I have here, and the other is Competitor's View. Those are like the two blanks that you really want to look out for, because there are loads of modern rubbish reproductions of the NASCAR t-shirts in particular. So if you find anything which has like a screen printed tag on it, like that's an immediate no-go for me. And you'll also find a lot of them are just printed on regular like Fruit of the Loom t-shirts, which isn't bad, but it just means you're not getting a proper vintage one if that's what you're looking out for. This might have been my most expensive. It might have been £20, I think, but I've got countless amount of these NASCAR Hard Rock and Harley tees, and I will just continue to collect them because I just think they're beautiful and they fit me really well. Okay, and the final piece for this video, and you might have caught it already if you watched my Italy video, it's this Wrangler Varsity jacket. Again, this is inherited from my dad, which is just crazy to me. It just shows how fashion just comes round in circles. I had picked up a H&M Varsity jacket, which you'll be able to see in some of my recent videos. It's actually an amazing piece for the price. If you can get hold of it, definitely do. But I think once my mum and dad saw me in that and they were looking to get rid of this, they asked me if I wanted it before they put it on Vinted. And I was like, yes, definitely. So again, this is a vintage piece. It's made in Portugal, actually. My first piece of made in Portugal clothing. And it's all canvas apart from the W patch, which is like a fleece. Being vintage, the colors are like washed out, just like the jeans. So the blue is like, it's such a beautiful color. And then the sleeves are in this sort of cream off-white. This is actually a size large, which I probably wouldn't usually go for in an outerwear piece. But I think it fits me really well. And this is something I can easily bring into my rotation, especially in spring, summer. I think varsity jackets are just perfect for that. But if you want to get this look, it's so easy to replicate. Like, varsity jackets are pretty much all the same. The only difference you'll find is sometimes like they'll be made of leather or a little bit of wool. So the materials and obviously quality can change, but the actual look, overall look, is going to be very similar. And so those are my recent pickups. I'm sorry that a lot of them are vintage and inherited, so you won't be able to pick up the exact thing. Well, you might if you are lucky on eBay or Depop, but I will definitely list like very close alternatives if you want to just get the general look. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next week.